Hello, and thank you for being with me again. Today I wanted to talk about having life to the full. In the 10th chapter of St. John's Gospel, Jesus talks about being the good shepherd, that is the one who actually shows us the way to a full life. And the 10th verse of the 10th chapter, he says, "I have come that you may have life and have it to the full." Now, in our world, often if you talk about people having life to the full, the first thing that comes to mind is success, wealth, a jet-set lifestyle that fills all the dreams that you could have, and so on. And unfortunately, this is a faulty concept of what having life to the full means. And we can see this from the very fact that it's not that every celebrities who would be sought after by so many people in the world, have relationships that last for their lifetimes, that are truly stable and what people would want from a relationship with another person. We see even people who have achieved great success and huge wealth committing suicide sometimes. And so we can see that this kind of view of what life to the full means is not actually a fulfilling life. And so Jesus is talking about something else. And what he's talking about is a life that actually we know for ourselves is something great. If you think about it, sometimes you hear something, you hear a story that touches you, you see someone doing something and it really gets to you. And that is very seldom a story about someone achieving great success and getting themselves a lot of money. I think, for example, of two very simple examples I know of old people. There was a man well on in age, and his wife was in a home and unfortunately suffering from quite severe Alzheimer's. And the staff said to him one day, because he came to visit her every day, they said to him, "Why is it that you bother to come every day? She doesn't even know who you are anymore." And he said to them, "She may not know who I am anymore, but I still know who she is." And that type of great love, as I say, is something that can touch us deeply. There was also a very moving depiction we had on Italian television during the COVID lockdowns and so on, where also a rather elderly man whose wife was in hospital and he wasn't able to visit her, went in the evening with a stool and his violin and sat outside the hospital window where she would be able to hear him playing the violin for her. And these are the things that we know are great love. There's, for example, on, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's CBS, which is quite a prominent American television channel, an actual slot that they have about On the Road with Steve Hartman. And he goes around collecting stories that touch people's hearts. And again, they're stories of great love, of people serving in an extraordinary way. And these stories touch our hearts and move us. And so we know that those are the truly beautiful things of life. And when you're living according to those beautiful things, then you are living life to the full. Another misconception about living life to the full is that if I'm living life to the full, everything will be perfect. There'll be only positive things in my life. However, if we look at nature around us, that too is not true. As you can see behind me, currently we're in spring and our area here is absolutely bursting with new life, leaves glossy with health, and everything looking really beautiful. But you see, in the natural course of the life of these plants that you can see around me and behind me, there's that time which will come in autumn when these leaves will fall. They'll lose these beautiful leaves that they have now. But they have to do so that next spring they can come up once again with this great beauty, so many flowers flowering in our fields and so on. And this too is true of our lives. just as the seasons that our plants and everything live through in this world, so in our lives there are times that are very strikingly beautiful and times that may be less beautiful at first glance but have a beauty of their own. Just as winter, when these plants will have no leaves on them, has its own beauty, its own things to show us, its own way of life going forward. So in our lives, we'll have the moments when we feel that life is really rich and full and beautiful, but we'll have the other times. And if we have faith in God to know that when those other times come, that is merely a step towards a new beautiful season in our lives, that we can truly enjoy life, truly accept what we're going through now, and know that whatever it is and however beautiful or less beautiful it may appear, it is part of our lives and it will bring us the fullness of life which God means us to have. And so my prayer for you this week is that you may enjoy your life to the full, and you do that by living close to God and following His way and letting Him guide you through the ups and downs of your life. It's a very beautiful prayer. I forget, it's attributed to some saint, and right now I don't remember what his name is, but he says, Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve you as I should, to give and not to count the cost, not to heed the wounds, but to toil, not to seek for rest, but to labor, and not to ask for reward, save that of knowing that I am doing your will. And I'll put the words to that prayer in the description to this video. And may God bless you. Thank you.